April 1990 at Bristol, you're racing Michael Waltrip, and the two of you get together a little bit, and you go on about your business, and you come around, and all hell has broken loose. What do you remember about that?
I am so glad we're talking about that, because this is something that Michael has talked about many a times.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've never got to really go publicly and say exactly what happened. And this is perfect for the story. I'm driving for Alliance Tractor Trailer Training Center. Michael's driving for Ronnie Silvers, which lives here in Asheville, and just happened to be sponsored in a bunch of races by Blanton's Tractor Trailer Training Center.
Okay.
We had got into a little controversy, kind of, because let me tell you, it was a rival between these two training centers to learn to drive tractor trailer, and they was only 1.5 miles apart. So we kind of got into it at Hickory, you know.
You and Michael.
Michael, you know, bumping and everything. And somebody had said something called Blanton's wanted to beat Alliance, and, you know, Alliance, hey, whatever it takes, we can't let the Blanton car win. Yeah. So now we go to Bristol.
Now, was Blanton an associate on that?
No. Well, Blanton's was not on it at Bristol. It was a Kool-Aid car.
Yeah.
But at Hickory and some of the racetracks that was close here, it had Blanton's Tractor Trailer Training Center.
As the primary?
As a primary sponsor for Ronnie Silvers.
I don't remember that. Okay.
So we get to Bristol, and now this 1990, my first or second race at Bristol, because I run there in 89 in my own car. And I can remember Michael Waltrip, and I'm going to tell most of this all story where if Michael wants to talk, and we kind of said things, but not really. Michael and Kyle Petty was dominating the race. The Pete car and Michael. I was getting lapped. I was probably 2 laps down. Might have been 3. You know, Bristol and running in a good race car and everything. They both pitted. Somehow Michael didn't get out of the pits as quick, and that's when the slow car's on the bottom, fast car's on the top. And Kyle got away from him. I've watched this film hundreds of times to make sure what I thought matched up. And this is in the 90s. 'Cause that was a terrific wreck that you don't want to never see. And Michael, the racetrack's coming apart. So if you go back and look at the history, racetrack come apart. There's loose gravel up there and everything and rubber. And Michael's coming, and Spider says, 30 cars coming. He's second place or third place or whatever. And, you know, I'm down on the apron like a slow car is. And whenever we come off of turn 2, this is where the controversy is going to start. Is I honestly, in my opinion, think that Mike was going to give me a little nudge to say, hey, boy, where are you at now? Where's this Alliance car at now? And Mike clipped my right rear tire. And whenever he did, he shot straight into that gate. Yeah. I knew, and I seen it hit, and I thought, you know, wow. What is it? Am I delirious? Did I just witness what I seen in the mirror? And, you know, we didn't come back around. They red flagged that race. And I'm looking, and everybody's staring at me like, what in the heck just happened? Yeah. And then somebody says, hey, Robert, that wasn't your fault. And so we get out of the car, and I look over there, and I see all this, and I mean, I almost wanted to throw up. I was sick seeing the body parts here, motors here, and I knew he was dead. And all of a sudden, we're sitting there in the red flag, and they're cleaning it up, and here comes Michael on a golf cart going to the infield, and let me tell you, what hurt watching that wreck did not hurt as bad as Michael staring me down as he went by, and we wasn't 20 foot apart. And I was so relieved he was alive that I never thought about any controversy. And he never said a word. He just stared as he went by on that golf cart. And I felt so much better because I knew it wasn't my fault or anything. Yeah. Later on, I heard Michael on a podcast tell somebody, say, I wanted to go over there and whoop him, but I knew how tough them old Asheville boys was. They told me. Had they been, I mean, heck, I think to him, he was just glad to be alive. But later on, his brother, Darrell, told me, he said, you about killed my brother. And I said, Darrell, and this is probably the most conversation we ever talked about it. I said, Darrell, how did I do it? How did I wreck him? He said, well, whenever you turned him into that wall. I said, oh, I didn't know that I turned him in the wall. He said, yeah, when y'all come off the corner, you just turned him in the wall. I said, Darrell, you need to go watch the video. He's behind me. And, you know, I'm in Cup now. Yeah. This is years later.
Yeah.
I knew I was good, but I didn't know I could wreck somebody off the back bumper. And he just, well, I think you need to realize, Darrell come back to me.
Did he?
The next week and said, we had always heard you put him in the wall. And he said, you know, all these years, didn't know. But me and Michael probably have not said 20 words together since that wreck. I mean, maybe in driver introduction, all the races we run.
Yeah.
It would be whenever we walked by each other, we just looked at each other. No words was ever spoken. And I'm so glad you brought that date up because that is something that the tape will show every bit of what I'm talking about, from them two dominating the race up to it happen. And I'm not sure that they really show me when he passed on that golf cart, you know, but I can remember it. That was what, 32 years ago now.